Welcome to the Daybreak with Jeff Slakey podcast. I'm so happy you found us. Please subscribe, rate, review, and share this with your circle of influence. It's a collection of the interviews, news, and conversation during Daybreak with Jeff Slakey on iFiber One News Radio, KMAS, weekdays from 6 to 9. Good morning to you. It's Daybreak here at iFiber One on a Wednesday, the 16th of September. Good morning, Spencer.
Hey, good morning. What's going on?
Well, I'm still continuing, as everybody is, to keep our eyes on the skies when it comes to rain and the smoke that has been just sticking around for the last couple of days. Thunderstorms. They keep pushing this out. I don't want to take your thunder, if you will, from the weather reports. But, I mean, the trends have been pushed now to Friday and into the weekend before things are going to clear up, right?
Yeah, it looks like less than 25% chance tomorrow. We did get a little bit of rain here in Grapeview anyway yesterday for about an hour, but nothing heavy. And then maybe a quarter of an inch on Friday, but then we dry up again for 4 days. But it does look like a week from today. It looks like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and next week, all showers with each day about a little bit more than a half inch each day. So that looks like that might be the real.
Well, I don't care. I mean, the rain obviously is helpful if we get a lot of it for the fires, but I don't feel like it helps the smoke at all. What's the wind? I mean, are we anticipating the winds to? I mean, hopefully we get rain. It helps the wildfires go down, and then the winds come to push the air out. But I don't know.
Yeah, virtually no wind is the problem. Like almost none. We have a flagpole at the lot, and just all the flagpoles I see around town and around the community, they're just not moving.
Not at all.
No.
Well, again, today on the show, more local news and conversation. We got a lot of great interviews. Port of Call updating us there. The EDC has some new things to talk about. And we continue our conversations about Bikers for Babies with Mason Health. Here's an update from a story we brought you yesterday from the Mason County Coroner's Office. With the public's assistance, a positive identification was made in the identifying of a deceased male whose body was found at Taunton Shores near Summers Drive. The coroner's office is withholding the name pending notification of the next of kin. But again, thanks to everybody in the public who helped identify this body.
Since our last report here on Daybreak, Mason County Public Health was notified of one additional Mason County resident that tested positive for COVID-19. That brings the total to 379 positive cases in Mason County. Mason County staff performing case investigations and tracing close contacts to reduce the spread of COVID-19 in our community.
There's a new Working Washington grant opportunity from the Mason County EDC. Karin will again be on later today talking more about it, but details are also on our website, iFiber1newsradio.com. These are $10,000 grants, and eligible uses include operating expenses, rent, marketing, supplies, utility bills, and some other things. The application's open for 3 weeks. The deadline is October 6th, and they hope to have the announcements made by October 9th. Again, Karin in a little bit today, and information at iFiber1newsradio.com.
And all you razor clam diggers, the razor clam digs begin today. Shellfish managers have scheduled 39 razor clam digs on ocean beaches for dates through December. State shellfish managers have also approved the first 4 days of razor clam digging beginning today after those marine toxin tests showed that the clams are safe to eat. And these are the times and dates today: 6:17 Long Beach, Twin Harbors, Copalis. Tomorrow, 6:58 Twin Harbors, Mock Rocks. Friday, the 18th, 7:39 at Twin Harbors, Copalis, and Saturday, the 19th, 8:19 a.m., Twin Harbors, Mock Rocks.
Very cool. 2-game series between the Giants and the Mariners. Little interleague play in Seattle that was scheduled yesterday was postponed because of air quality, of course, because of the wildfires. Teams now play today and tomorrow at Oracle Park in San Francisco. The game times today, a 5:30 pregame and a noon pregame tomorrow on iFiber One. Announcement came as forecasters called for smoke and air quality to reach very unhealthy levels here in Western Washington through at least Thursday. But again, we're talking about it maybe even later. Some players complained about the smoky conditions after that split doubleheader with Oakland. They even had the roof closed at T-Mobile Park, but it was still pretty rough. And Spencer, you were telling me off air that this is a strange one because the Mariners and the Giants in San Francisco, but the Mariners will be up to bat in the home position because they just shifted from up there, Seattle to San Francisco. Yeah,
we were talking about that. I don't follow baseball enough to know how often that happens due to some type of maybe natural disaster or something. But it is interesting.
Very rarely.
Yeah, it is interesting that the Mariners will be the home team in San Francisco.
Yeah. So the game today, 5:30 pregame, tomorrow noon here on iFiber 1. Well, more news and conversation coming up here on this Wednesday, the 16th day of September. Hope you're having a great start to it and moving your way through the Ides of September here. Good morning to you.
From the iFiber 1 News Radio studios, you're listening to Daybreak.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Jeff Slakey and Spencer Hughes here on the Daybreak Show. We've got from the EDC, Karin Leaf. How you doing, Karin?
Good morning. How are you? I'm doing well, thanks.
Oh, good. It's good to talk with you. We've talked over the last couple of weeks. We had Commissioner Trask on, I think it was last week or so, and talking about some of the grant monies that the EDC is helping to pass out through a bunch of different portals from Commerce and different entities. And you have a new one to talk about.
We do. So it just went live this morning, the Working Washington Small Business Emergency Grant Round 2. Mm-hmm. So Commerce has sent out a number of pots of money to all of the counties in Washington again. So Mason County got an additional almost $134,000. So folks will be eligible for grants up to $10,000. And then this round, nonprofits will be eligible to apply also, and those nonprofits would need to do some kind of economic development work or support. Mm-hmm. So that's good. You know, as our community, knows, our nonprofits do a lot for us. They do a lot for our small rural communities, and our nonprofits need a boost. They need some help.
Yeah,
their doors stay open also.
There are a lot of them. If you were to go, they have ways to search for these, 501c3 nonprofits by county. And if you do a search for nonprofits in Mason County, there are way more than you probably ever even knew about.
Correct.
And they all have great groups and organizations behind them, and they're doing a lot of good work that oftentimes goes unnoticed in many circumstances.
That's correct. Yeah, there's a lot of work being done that no one knows about. And if you look at that whole list of the nonprofits in Mason County, you separate them out. So, while there's pages and pages in that Excel spreadsheet, I have that. It's very long, but you take out the homeowners associations and some of those others that wouldn't be eligible for any assistance through this grant. But United Way, obviously both of the chambers, they're all welcome to apply. They just have to be a federally legal business in Mason County, 20 or fewer employees, kind of somewhat the same eligibility requirements that were on the first round. And then, of course, the same eligibility or eligible expenses, your rent, utilities, marketing, advertising, those kind of things, your PPE equipment and those things that you needed to reopen, all of the masks, the hand sanitizers, disinfectants, those things.
There's a lot of cost to having the PPE on site. If you have decided to reopen your business, there is a lot you have to think about. Some of the earlier grants that we talked about limited the time of open. You couldn't be a new business or under a year, under 2 years or something like that. Is that still the case? I mean, those are the ones that are really struggling mightily. Those are the ones that are just,
it's like, Bard's Bounty, when they sent out their message that they closed their doors. I was it was heartbroken because, reached out to them and spoke with them, but they weren't eligible.
Yeah.
But they still, they put their life savings into that, to start up a new business, to purchase it, whether it's new or existing. We've got one that's in town here. They've been in business for a number of years, 2-3 decades. They just changed hands in January. So those new owners weren't eligible for any of these grants. So while, we are working very closely with our county commissioners. So we hope to have a second round of funding from them coming out this fall. And we're going to work together to change some of those eligibility requirements. So, these new stores, Tea's Cafe ish on the corner here, they would be eligible to apply. That's
great news. That's great news.
Yeah. I'm so proud of our county commissioners. I'm thrilled that they're putting these monies back out into the community. A lot of counties didn't, and they didn't have to, but ours chose to offer assistance, and I just think it's wonderful.
What are some of the other things that the Board of County Commissioners and the EDC are looking at on ways to kind of maybe revitalize or the county or get just more, more people coming through and things like that? I noticed something on your Facebook page about the different ports that we have in the county and shipments and things like that.
Yeah, there's a lot of conversation going on. Jennifer and I are going to sit down with the county commissioners here again very soon to look at what we've learned through this whole process. None of us have been through this before. So we've learned a great deal. We know what we can change, what we can do better, what worked very well, what didn't. So I'm looking forward to those conversations, to include our ports. We're all in this together, and we need to work together to make sure that we're all supported. And I think that everyone's been doing a good job of that.
Are there some technological things after this is all said and done that people in state government and the IT level can work to build a better either database or a submission form that would not necessarily that would do a better job of helping the people that are applying know that they are getting, that that they filled the form out right and now it's time to wait, or line 32B looks like it's an error and that will cause you to get monies held up. Do you think there's a lot of that maybe that's needed after we're doing a post on this?
Yeah, we've found that a lot of these businesses, they go about their bookkeeping in their own way, whatever works for them. Mm-hmm. But when it comes time for assistance in the middle of a pandemic, say we have the large earthquake, the big one comes, their bookkeeping is not sufficient to present, or to accompany your grant application. So those are things that we want to help our businesses with. And a lot of that, the different funding vehicles, they have their own requirements, like the CDBG grants. Those are strictly for low to moderate income businesses, and households. And, for the business owners, that really made it difficult for quite a few of those because they didn't qualify.
Yeah.
So we're looking at those kind of situations and things that we've discovered through this whole process now with the county commissioners. And I think that it would be, it would just be helpful for the businesses to be better prepared.
Yeah.
In the event of an emergency. As far as the applications go, there's the majority of it we can't change. We can just, walk them through it, which we have done quite a bit. And now we're running into folks that have application fatigue. Those folks that, I literally had to have Randy Netherland. He helped track a business down in North Mason. He thought that this was all a scam. And it's like, we're not. Yeah, so we're right here.
The business owner was getting messages from you or hearing about this, but didn't.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
The whole time he's like, yeah, okay.
Uh-huh.
And I call him again like, hey, we just talked and I haven't gotten your documentation yet. Oh, sure. And I don't blame them. There's so much.
There's a lot out there right now.
Scam and theft. Yeah, it's disgusting. So these folks, they're leery of what to really believe and what to submit their paperwork to.
Sure. These are financial documents, likely with, either socials or
very sensitive information.
And well, it's a good testament too, you say, to the county and the size of our county to have a commissioner kind of just be able to go up to the business and say, hey,
yeah,
this is legit. I'm your commissioner. Let's do this. We are helping you.
Exactly. Yeah. And our commissioners are great. They're out talking to the businesses. And so folks know who they are. They make themselves very available to all of them, to everyone in their districts. And, it's some of those businesses, like that one that I was just mentioning, had never heard of the EDC. He didn't know what we were. And, a lot of the work that we do is quiet behind the scenes. And we can't share that information with anyone.
Yeah.
They're large multi-million-dollar projects that the information doesn't leave this room, So, but this whole COVID has obviously put our name out there. We know, folks know what it is that we can do to help them now, and what we can do for them after the fact, because it's, when this is all over, we're certainly not going to be done.
Right.
We've got a lot of work to do and business support that they need.
Well, choosemason.com is a good place to start, get some more information, and be looking down the horizon for, I think, additional ways that the EDC perhaps could at least either help through facilitating some workshops or something like that, but ways for business owners to kind of maybe get some standardization when it comes to their accounting and bookkeeping. You're not going to necessarily say, well, hey, everybody should buy in on Quicken or something like that, but there's got to be things that everybody should do. Mm-hmm. You can have your own way of doing it, but when you have it on a final visual product, it looks the same and it looks like something that somebody's familiar with. Exactly.
And it's, whatever works for them, but it's just the documentation, the paperwork, the receipts, the proof of payment. I sat down with the restaurant for a little over an hour going through a big manila envelope of mumbled jumbled receipts and trying to help him, just organize them a little bit better. So it's, in the event that these things happen, he's better prepared.
Karin Leaf from the EDC. It's always good to talk with you guys. I know Jennifer's off with some meetings right now, but it's good to catch in with you and the EDC and see what's going on. ChooseMason.com. We'll put the links in the show notes. Thanks, Karin.
Thank you very much.
You're listening to Daybreak on iFiber One News Radio.
And again, good morning, everybody. Jeff Slakey and Spencer Hughes here on the Daybreak Show. We're continuing our great conversations as we get you geared up for this new inaugural fundraiser, Bikers for Babies. Jen Capps is with me again. Jen, good morning.
Good morning.
There's been fun conversations we've had to kind of get geared up and ready to go. And we're going to get really into the nuts and bolts of the event today. Who do we have with us here?
My name is Shannon Barnhart, and I'm the Director of Patient Access for Mason Health.
Abel Eaton as well, the brand specialist at Brothers Power Sports in Bremerton. How you doing, Abel?
I'm good. How are you?
Shannon, you didn't add on your CV here that you were you and your husband thought about this idea. Tell me a little bit about this and how it all kind of got it started.
Well, it kind of came about over a couple of different steps. When we first started putting our chapter together, the Bremerton Indian Writers Group, we were working closely with a neighboring chapter, Auburn, and they do an annual event called the Wigged Out Ride, which is a charity event for cancer survivors to help fund for wigs for cancer survivors. And at the last Wigged Out event, the ride had ended at Brothers Power Sports, and talking with the then president of that chapter about how he put that together, it kind of got me thinking as I shared that I do work for Mason Health, and it would be a great opportunity because our writers group really wants to be a community group. And so I guess the next thing that happened is Jen passed me in the hall and said, "Gosh, I sure do love your Indian." And I said, hey, well, I was thinking maybe we could do some kind of a charity event that involves the motorcycle group. So, and Jen kind of took it from there.
Here we are. Woo!
Well, it sounds to me like this is not your first foray into fundraising and helping great causes.
It is not.
Tell me a bit about Brothers Power Sports and kind of the background and why you wanted to continue to be involved in supporting community.
Brothers Power Sports has been in the Kitsap community for 70 years, 71 now. Last year was their 70th anniversary. Still family owned by the grandson of the founder. We've got a big, long tradition of giving back to the community. And as Indian Motorcycle does as well, and then with the riders group wanting to have an event or something that they could call their own each year, it's a great opportunity for Brothers Power Sports, Indian Motorcycle of Bremerton, and the riders group all to come together and create an awesome event for a good cause. We all like to give back when we can and have fun while we're doing it.
So again, this event is coming up. It's going to be this Saturday from 9 to 2, and it starts and ends at the same spots, the Bremerton Motor Sports Park, 7500 Southwest Old Clifton Road in Port Orchard. And then throughout the day, it's going to be a beautiful ride throughout Mason County. Let's talk a little bit, Abel, about who all is going to be joining you, the riders, the numbers of total riders that we have so far. I know we want to get a whole lot more by Saturday, but what are some of those deals?
So it's just we have a few vendors. We have the Radio Fryer coming down to help us with lunch.
Nice.
We have a few of our business partners that we work with that are going to be there and support and show their support as well. And it's riders of every kind of make and model that we could think of. We've reached out to every club, every group, to just try to have a fun event on a Saturday and stay safe while doing it.
The funds raise will support a whole host of things. We talked about this yesterday, Jen, on the show. One of the things for the birth center is a fetal heartbeat telemetry unit, and there's more. You can find it information at masongeneral.com. Right there on the front page, you'll see the graphics scroll by, and you'll see the logo that says Bikers for Babies. This is going to be a lot of fun. So let's talk a little bit about the logistics, Abel, when it comes to the route through Mason County. And then what about partnering up or at least giving a heads up to law enforcement, letting them know that the ride's coming through?
So we've reached out. Our Indian Motorcycle Riders Group road captain, Kevin, has reached out to all the municipalities and have informed them of what's going on. Pretty much everybody in Kitsap and Mason, they've been notified. Other than residents, there's probably a few neighborhoods that we're going to go through that might upset a few people, but we'll be in and out so quickly that you won't even notice. When we were picking a route, we wanted to have something that kind of showcases Kitsap and Mason's finest without creating extra stops. So we can do it all in one nice little loop. So that's why we picked, Old Belfair Highway to South Shore and then up the hill into Shelton and then back down 3 towards the racetrack. Because you kind of get to see everything all in one route.
That's awesome. That's going to be so much fun for everybody involved. Shannon, tell me a little bit about some other benefits. Obviously, the benefits are benefiting the foundation. We're raising some money. It's $20 for an individual, $30 for a couple if you're sharing the hog. But kind of just this is just a good way to give back in a real unique way.
It really is. I think for me in particular, it's being able to combine the things that I really love in my recreational world plus what I do and love in my professional world. So it's kind of great to connect the two for me.
Another very important question. Have you given Jen a chance to ride your Indian motorcycle?
Onward.
Maybe.
This is going to be a huge, great day. Radio Fryer. So they're going to be at the Motorsports Park at the end for everybody?
Yes, that's correct.
That's another great local business and wonderful food there. Bikers for Babies coming up this weekend. It's 9 to 2, starts and ends at the Bremerton Motorsports Park. Happy to have on right now Abel Eaton, the brand specialist at Brothers Power Sports in Bremerton. Also Shannon Barnhart, Director of Patient Access, and a Indian motorcycle enthusiast as well. So we have been all week long talking about this great event, and there's still time for you to get involved and registered. Go to masongeneral.com and find that graphic right there on the front page. Jen, Shannon, Abel, nice to talk with you all, and really looking forward to a popular and exciting kickoff inaugural event.
Awesome. Thank you, Deb.
Thank you.
From the iFiber One News Radio studios, you're listening to Daybreak.
Well, good morning, everybody. Jeff Slakey and Spencer Hughes on the Daybreak Show. Time for us to find out what's doing at the Port of Shelton during Port of Call. Wendy Smith, how are you doing?
Good.
It's good to see you.
I'm breathing.
Yeah, well,
maybe not fresh air, but
sometimes it's tough these days. We've been talking a lot lately on the airport and the projects on the runway and things like that. Let's give some updates.
So the runway is complete. They took the temporary striping off the taxiway and put it back on the main runway. So we're good until about a month from now. They'll restripe. That's just common. So the feedback we're getting is it's smooth, it's great, and everybody's super happy. So we're excited about that. That was a big project, for the port. It was, over $3.5 million. Yeah. And so that was huge. It kind of spanned over the 2 years, as you know. Other than that, I think I talked to you last time about some vents on our water towers. We passed our Department of Health every 5 years, does a sanitary health study on our water system. And during that study, we passed with flying colors, but our vents up on the towers, which we have 3, we have 2 at Sanderson and 1 at Johns Prairie, were out of compliance in terms of some of the screens, that kind of thing, so other debris could get into the system. So they just said within the next year if you could replace. So we did a great operation. We hired Pacific Northwest Welding. He's local. He did the welding on it. We had an engineering firm draw the plans. Snell Crane right out of Mud Bay came up and did the crane work, and it was all accomplished over a span of 2 days. Wow. And so it was the setup and then getting it done, and it was a pretty great operation. We have some good photos of that we'll end up probably putting on our website, which is another thing to update. Our websites looked pretty dilapidated, I guess is the right word, for some time, just out of date. Sure. And we're revamping that as we speak. So behind the scenes, it's coming.
You got to give yourself a little credit here. You guys sold off the marina,
right?
And so that was a key portion of the logo. Yep. You can just run into these things.
I know. Yeah. So our logo's been updated, and so we're starting to change out our newsletter head and that kind of thing. Good. And with that, so like I said, I've got a first draft of the website, so we'll be going through that, and It's going to be up to date and a little more user friendly and just easy. So we'll get that rolling here soon. So good things are happening.
Back to that water tower. What is the tower's service? I mean, what's the water for?
All port properties.
Okay.
So at Johns Prairie, it actually functions a little bit different. A few years back, I think it was in 2012, we actually our tower is now just the backup feeder for the property because we're city fed out there. Yeah. So we have a bunch of different termed, engineered features on our tower. But the 2 at Sanderson we actually own and operate and manage our own water system. So all our tenants are served by our water. We test it, I think, monthly. Ned's our water guy. So by that, I mean he's state certified. He has to take classes every year, a test to pass when you first get certified. So he's our water operator. And I think we're going to do some cross-training and get some of our other staff trained so that if Ned's gone, other people can do it. Other people have taken samples, and we do that, and we turn them in. And we've never, knock on wood, but we've never had a hit like you hear on the news. We have good functioning service. It's a system that was put into place years and years and years ago but it's been upgraded with, all the underground piping, et cetera. So we have a lot of abandoned pipe, but all the new pipe was laid. And so that's just part of port assets.
Isn't that something you
It's
don't
huge.
really think about?
Yeah, and so those towers actually become more, they serve obviously, but we probably don't need two. One is elevated on legs, and the other one is a standpipe. And so they serve as different purposes too. Right now, the elevated one has some. We have one tenant, AT&T. They're actually switching to new Singular Wireless. We just signed a new lease with them recently in the last couple months, where they're building their own tower. But for years, they've had their supplies, their data on our tower. That's where they located it. So the other thing is the standpipe holds our our rotating beacon for the airport. So when you see that light as you drive by, that's where it's located. So just another thing that our great maintenance guys handle every day and deal with every day, and they check these because water is a pretty important feature, not only for users, but in terms of keeping it safe and environmentally friendly, all that goes with it. So it's a pretty big deal.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good little insight there.
Right. Something you may not have known.
I may not have known this morning during our Port of Call, talking about all great things at Port of Shelton. You can go to portofshelton.com, a soon-to-be updated website. Wendy Smith here from the Port of Shelton. Thanks for coming on.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for listening to today's Daybreak with Jeff Slakey podcast. Again, I'm so happy and honored you found us and chose to listen. Please subscribe, rate, review, and share this with your circle of influence. It's a collection of some of the interviews, news, and conversation during Daybreak with Jeff Slakey on iFiber One News Radio KMAS, weekdays from 6 to 9. Thank you so much again, and talk with you next time.